Hello Dota players, welcome to Merlini's Theorycrafting Thursday. This time is going to be about surviving as a support, and I apologize in advance for the different microphone as well as the lack of a webcam. I will return to my normal setup for my next video, which will be released on Tuesday. So, how can you survive as a support? Don't die. Over 75% of your support deaths are positional related. This is taken from my Bible of Truths. And 75% is quite a lot, but what can you do about the other 25%? You can succumb to your inevitable fate and intentionally feed. You can AFK at your fountain to improve your oh-so-coveted KDA to show off to your buddies. You can wait to clean up the fights, only to find out your team gets wiped every single time without you. You can actually cast your spells. You can buy items with some hard-earned gold. Everyone loves farming. Everyone loves buying items. And I'm going to mostly focus on that one and how you can survive more in that aspect. So, firstly, when you want to buy items as support, you generally want to survive so you can actually cast your spells. Casting spells was not necessarily a facetious answer because sometimes you just die before you can cast anything. So what can you buy? You can buy HP items, you can buy armor items, or you can buy magic resistance items. So these are your like tier one, like your first tier of items. You're not going to have 2,000 gold for a blink dagger 3 minutes into the game. You're just going to have to eventually build your way up there. So firstly, you want to start off with HP items. I've listed 5 common support HP items, from bracers to Vit Booster. And these range from 525 gold to 1200 gold. And the most value that you're going to get is from the Vit Booster, 250 HP for 1100 gold for a value of roughly 1 HP per 4.5 gold. And it's highlighted yellow because it's the best value. Yes, there are pros for the other items. Point Booster gives you mana, Power Treads gives you attack speed, and doesn't take up an additional slot. And there are cons for some of these items, like Vit Booster. It builds up into very few items, and so on and so forth. But I'm only considering pure value, how much HP you can get per your gold. And Vit Booster is the clear winner. 1 HP, not effective HP, just 1 HP per 4.5 gold. And if we move on to the next category of armor, common support armor items. Bassi, Trank Boots, Chainmail, Buckler, Medallion. I've done the same thing. Chainmail is going to be the most value at 5 armor for 550 gold, and I wanted to calculate an EHP per gold, similar to how I calculated HP per gold for the HP items. But to do that, I needed a sample, and level 11 Dazzle is going to be my hero of choice. And level of choice, he has 815 HP. Each point of armor is going to give him 49 EHP, which means that the value of a chainmail is going to be about 1 EHP per 2.2 gold. So make sure you understand this part. 1 EHP per 2.2 gold, it's about 50% cheaper than just straight HP. And you have to realize that EHP is generally going to be cheaper if you're buying armor or if you're buying magic resistance, or else people would just buy HP all the time. Why would you buy armor if you can just buy HP that mitigates versus physical damage and magical damage? So armor has to be more valuable, or else no one would ever buy it. So it is far more valuable. You get about twice the EHP, or it costs 50% less, whichever way you want to look at it, and that's pretty good value. 1 EHP per 2.2 gold. And if we move on to the next category of magic resistance, Cloak is going to be 20% resistance at 550 gold, and with a level 11 Dazzle gives you about 271 EHP, which works out to about 1 EHP per 2 gold. So even cheaper than armor. But again, it's only versus magic damage. If you're versus like a Zeus with a Dagon, Cloak is going to be your go-to item to survive. So what does all of this tell us? Well, firstly, I picked out one item in each category that is going to be the most value, the best bang for your buck. Vit Booster, Chainmail, and of course a Cloak, because it's the only one in the category. And eventually you're going to want to build up to tier 2 items, which includes all these items on the top part of the slide. But I wanted to categorize these down into different groups, and the first group is going to be Anti-BKB. Anti-BKB is going to be really, really important because supports tend to fall off when the opponents get BKBs. And you want to be able to, counter their BKBs, soft counter or hard counter. Ags, I put an asterisk because you have things like Disruptor, which is own BKB, or you have things that don't necessarily own BKB but are asterisk. Force Staff, you can kite BKB. Blink, you can kite BKB or initiate pre-BKB. Shadow Blade is decent for kiting. Glimmer is pretty good. BKB, you just BKB of your own, and yeah, BKB wars. Support's generally going to lose that, but it's still an anti-BKB measure. Mech is pretty good because you can just tank up and kind of weather the BKB until it's over, and then work your way on focusing the hero down. Ghost Scepter, great at kiting, especially versus like a Phantom Assassin or Troll or something like that. And Medallion or Solar Crest, similar to Mech, you just kind of tank up or choose who you want to tank up or whoever that person is focusing. So these I all deem anti-BKB items. I guess Crimson Guard is kind of in there, but you don't see that too often on supports. And then next we have items that have good build-ups. You don't want to aim for 25 minutes of the game when people start getting BKBs, when you could have a huge advantage in the first 20, which is when supports generally are deemed a little bit better. So you want items with good build-ups so you can take advantage of the strength of your power curve. So items with good build-ups generally include the items that were in the previous slides, the very valuable items in the tier 1 part, or items that are very close to maximum value. Ags, Ogre Club, and Point Boost are very good at surviving and giving you the resources that you need to get your spells off and survive. BKB is very good because it has the Ogre Club. Mech is very valuable because it's very easy to build up. Medallion Solar Crest also made up of fairly cheap components, at least Medallion is, and Glimmer Cape, very cheap component in the cloak, which will provide you a lot of survivability. And then we have the tier 2 items that are in both the anti-BKB and the good build-up category. So you have your first 20 minutes covered with a good build-up and useful items, and then you have post 25 minutes covered because you have anti-BKB. These are the items that you really, really want because they're good all game. Both Ags, again with the asterisk because it's not going to be for every hero, BKB, Mech, Medallion, Solar, and Glimmer. And Ags and BKB are very expensive. So is Solar Crest. These are, the 3,000, 4,000 gold territories, so you're not always going to have the luxury of these items, and of course these items are going to be good because they're pretty expensive. I guess that logic doesn't necessarily work all the time, but these items are good and they are expensive. So if we nix the Ags, BKB, and Solar, we're left with 3 items: Mech, Medallion, and Glimmer. And these items have been highly touted as very good support items, even to the point of almost being imbalanced. Mech was nerfed heavily in the last balance patch. This cooldown, I think, was increased by 20 seconds, which is huge, considering it was like 45 seconds to begin with. Now it's 65. That's a mega nerf. Medallion has been tweaked over the patches, but it's still considered almost a necessity for Roshan, and because of that, it's considered very, very strong relative to other items in its tier. And Solar Crest is very, very good. I would still say that item is super underrated, and it is useful for sieging high ground, bursting high priority targets down, protecting your carry, doing Roche. It is just very, very good. And Glimmer Cape is probably deemed the most broken item in 6.84 because of its high utility. It's anti-BKB because you can initiate as well as escape. Or you can just straight tank through it, which is ridiculous. It also has a very good build-up. The cloak is still pretty useful casually, and it's pretty cheap, at least relative to Ags and BKB. And you can just use it to do so many things, like scout and save allies. Like some of these items you can only save yourself, right? BKB you can generally only save yourself. Same with Shadow Blade, Ghost Scepter. Like these items are self-cast only, and Glimmer Cape, it has a very long range. You can cast on so many people, so these items are just out of this world good for Dota 2. And combining their excellent build-up with their utility, and you have extremely powerful items. Again, these are the items highlighted in blue on the bottom: Ags, BKB, Mech, Medallion, Solar, and Glimmer. Items that you will see in almost every single competitive Dota 2 game because of this. They are extremely powerful items. I would italicize, hyphenate, bold, make font 48, whatever I could do to emphasize that. Extremely powerful items. And there you have it, surviving as a support, or why Glimmer Cape and Solar Crest need to be re-looked at. You could also consider Roshan might need his armor mechanic re-looked at, but when it comes down to it, Glimmer Cape and Solar Crest are too good, at least in my opinion. And I don't think there will be a balance patch before TI, but I do think that these two items will be changed, probably nerfed, after TI. So thank you guys for joining me for another Theory Crafting Thursday. I will see you guys on Tuesday again with my normal setup. Please subscribe at youtube.com/MerliniDota if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something.